morning, Sunny Bonani, and welcome to your biggest and brightest breakfast show, Good Morning Africa. Ongoing health this morning, I have in studio a neuropsychologist by the name of Professor Stow. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. So we're going to be talking about natural medicine today. What exactly is natural medicine? What are some of the examples?
Yeah, sure.
them?
So natural medicines really refers to any medicine that might come from a plant pretty well. So there's a lot of very interesting molecules in the plant world which we can extract and form medicines and see how they work on the human body. There are also things like vitamins and other things which we might call natural supplements, and so they're a little bit different than natural medicines.
I see. And what are the benefits of taking natural medicine?
Yeah, well, a lot of our pharmaceuticals actually originally derived from plants. Something like 60% of pharmaceuticals actually are developed from plants. So there's a lot of therapeutic action. So there's a lot of really interesting things that can be changed in the human body by plant-based medicines. The other reason I think that there's quite a few reasons why plant-based medicines are interesting is that they have multiple actions on the human body. So a pharmaceutical, for instance, affects one particular pathway in the human body. Plants, because they are comprised of so many different molecules, they can affect many different things in a complementary way. The other reason is that they're probably quite safe, generally safe, not always, but most of the time they're pretty safe because they've been around for thousands of years and the body is used to many of these naturally occurring compounds.
So I'm sure there's some viewers out there who are thinking, what about that other illegal plant out there? Is that also considered a natural medicine or not quite?
Well, it's a natural substance, isn't it? I don't know if it's a medicine in any way, but you know, in the US they're now using it for pain relief and those sorts of things. So it is obviously a widely abused drug, and it's now becoming a sort of a widely used medicine in some parts of the world also.
So if two herbal medicines come from the same plant type, but different companies, can you assume that they are the same, or would one be better than the other?
Yeah, no, definitely you can't do that. And it's a very big problem because in the pharmaceutical world, you can buy the generic version of the same drug and it's exactly the same molecule. But with plant-based medicines, what we have to do is we have to grow them and then we have to extract something from the plant. And because these extractions are very complex, you can get completely different substances from one brand to the next brand. In Australia, I like to use the example of a bottle of Shiraz. Probably in South Africa, it would be like a bottle of Pinotage or something like that.
Yes.
But you know, there might be 500 Pinotages available to buy. One might cost $2 or 2 rand. Another one might cost 10,000 rand or something like that. And so they're all Pinotage, but they're different qualities, aren't they?
Yes,
and
definitely.
one might give you a headache, and another one might not give you a headache. So it's exactly the same thing in plant-based medicines. There's a very good example of that. You've probably heard of a substance called St. John's wort.
Yes.
So that's been used, it's been shown to be very good for mild to moderate depression and anxiety. But there's many different molecules in this St. John's wort, and some of them cause some side effects. And some of the better medicines, like there's one called Remotive, for instance, which is a version of St. John's wort, which doesn't have this molecule that gives all these side effects. So you have to be very careful about which ones you buy, for instance.
And if I'm a first-time natural medicine user, what are the things that I look for? How do I know which one is the better quality?
Yeah, it's very confusing and a very, very difficult thing. I think I'll give you this example. Last year, my government went and, have you heard of a herb called ginkgo biloba? Yeah. So they went and bought 15 different ginkgo bilobas at the pharmacy, and then they did their own assays, and they found that less than 10 of them actually had ginkgo biloba in them.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big problem. I think it's very similar in South Africa. So you really have to ask questions about the quality, quality of the company, quality of the extract, and exactly what research has been done on that product. Because inferior products will try to borrow the research from the better products, and that's a big problem. So stick with really good companies.
Okay. And we don't yet have regulation with natural medicines in South Africa, although there's a strong possibility that this will happen. From a consumer point of view, what is the downside of not having these medicines regulated?
It means that anybody can sell anything. And people can make claims which are very confusing. And so people will end up buying 1, medicines that don't work, and 2, medicines that could be unsafe and have nasty side effects. Because the better botanical medicines are ones that take out some of the nastier molecules that might cause side effects. But the really big problem is that a lot of the medicines out there probably are not going to work, so people are wasting the money.
And also makes that choice difficult as to which one am I now going to choose, because that one that's parading as the better quality one is not necessarily the better one. So you also have that problem.
Yes, exactly. So, you should talk to the pharmacist should know something about this, your GP should know something about this, or your naturopath should know something about it. So you should always take these medicines with some sort of professional help.
The Brain Sciences Institute has tested natural medicine that helps adults and children with memory, concentration and recall. What is that natural medicine called? Where does it come from?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been doing a lot of research on an ancient Indian herb. So you probably heard of traditional Chinese medicines.
Yes.
But in India they have also something as old called Ayurvedic medicine. And they have some really interesting herbs. And so I was approached by various people to help them do some research around this Ayurvedic herb is sold in this country called Keen Mind, but it's from the Bacopa monieri tree. Some people will know it as Brahmi is its term. And this is an aquatic herb that grows on the sides of rivers, quite polluted rivers in India. It has an amazing array of really interesting properties. It has anti-inflammatory properties, has antioxidant properties, and it might even clean the brain up of certain metals, so it's metal chelation, and removes beta amyloid. Does a whole range of very interesting things, so acts in very many different ways to change the way in which the brain functions and to clean up the brain in a way. So there's been now, we did the first human trial, although there was about 50 years of animal research in India before we did the first human trial in 2001, and since then there have been 8 human trials, and they've all shown positive effects for improving our memory and cognition. So it's very exciting.
And could there be a substitute for Ritalin or one of the drugs used to assist the early stages of dementia?
Yeah, so obviously Ritalin is used for people with ADHD, hyperactivity disorder. So look, that's a reasonably effective drug, we have to say. But there may be some side effects, of course, and not all parents want to give their children amphetamine-type substances like Ritalin. So it is very important that we try to find different types of maybe perhaps herbal medicines which are safer, have less side effects, which can also improve concentration and attention in children. So we are trialling this Bacopa, or this Keen Mind, with children, and we're about to start a big study, multi-centre study in Australia and also in India to look at this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we've also started trials in the area of ageing, brain ageing, and dementia also with Keen Mind. And one of them is a very big Australian government-funded study looking at giving elderly people 12 months of this Keen Mind or Brahmi and tracking them over that period of time. The idea is to try to improve their memories over that period of time.
And if I've never tried any sort of natural medicine before, should I consult my GP or a homeopath? How do I go about doing it?
Yeah, so I think it makes a lot of sense for you to, if you rely on a GP or a naturopath or some medical professional, to tell them about why you want to take that medicine, what you want to take, get their advice. Sometimes natural medicines can also interfere with other pharmaceuticals. So it's important to have a holistic approach in terms of taking these. I think natural medicines should be taken hand in hand with pharmaceuticals, but sometimes there are no pharmaceuticals for certain types of problems. And the other issue where I think natural medicines are very good is more for preventative medicine, preventative health. Pharmaceuticals are not really aimed at prevention, they're more aimed at treating certain diseases. So I think we want to move away from treating diseases and more in terms of preventing disease. So natural medicines, things like ginseng, for instance, might be very good in terms of boosting our immune system and helping us from disease.
And you find that a lot of pharmaceutical medicines tend to have side effects. Although you might be treating one thing, you're having all these other side effects which can create other complications.
Exactly. So you have to put up with the side effects
Exactly.
because you're trying to treat something. That's a very difficult situation.
Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us this morning. For our viewers out there who would like some more information about the natural medicines we spoke of, do you have a website they can you can refer them to, rather?
I think, yes, absolutely. I think the best website would be to look at the Flordis Medicines website in South Africa, because they sell the most researched, evidence-based medicines. So it's www.flordis.co.za.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your stay in South Africa.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much to our viewers across Africa for joining us. If you have any questions whatsoever, queries, comments, please do not hesitate to contact us. Our email address is gma@planetimage.co.za. Enjoy the rest of your day, and back to studio.